This is 5 on your side at 6. Focused on you.
Right now, Montgomery County, Illinois is under a blowing dust warning. This just one day after another dust storm caused a 70-car pileup on I-55, killing 7 people and hurting more than 30 others. We learned about that 7th death from Illinois State Police within the last 20 minutes. Thank you for being with us tonight. I'm Ann Allred.
And I'm Mike Bush. That stretch of Interstate 55 south of Springfield just reopened again about 30 minutes ago. Strong winds were limiting visibility in that area earlier today. We'll hear from Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell about the winds in just a moment. But first, Robert Townsend brings us an update on the investigation into the pileup. He's live in Divernon, Illinois. Robert.
Hey there, Mike. We got here about 45 minutes ago, and let me tell you right now, don't let the sun fool you. It's still pretty windy out here in Divernon. I'm going to step out of the way and let you see the big story out here. Take a look at that. You're looking at the aftermath, if you will. This is a live look at the bank's parking lot here, and you will get an idea of just how powerful those 40 and 50-mile-an-hour winds were at the height of the dust storm, which caused the chain reaction crash yesterday. Look at that. You're looking at some of the now mangled and banged up 18-wheelers and other vehicles that sustained lots of damage during the dust storm. You can see the front ends on those big rigs took quite a beating. We pan across this parking lot, you see more vehicles there just scorched and demolished. All around this parking lot, we're seeing all kinds of vehicles that sustain, again, a lot of damage. We just got word again from Illinois State Police. Now, 7 people officially named as victims. They died during the height of this storm. At least 37 others were injured on the stretch of I-55 driving to Divernon this afternoon. Let me tell you, the wind was really, really strong. I mean, it was blowing around our cars. You can actually feel it, let down the window, and you can hear the winds just kind of howling. It's really kind of a deceiving picture when you look back out here because it's sunny and bright now. But again, just standing out here for this live shot, the wind is pretty strong, actually bringing a tear down my face. I just talked to these state troopers. They tell me that the good news is, again, I-55 out here in this area is open again, north and southbound lanes. Now let's go to our meteorologist, Scott Connell. He's going to tell us more about this phenomenon, if you will, these dust winds. Hey, Scott, what can you tell us?
Hey, Robert, you know, we had the strong winds yesterday and again today, and the ground's been recently plowed and planted in some cases because farmers have to work and do so quickly whenever they can with the weather. And so they've been out in the fields working, planting. That season's here. You look at some of the peak wind gusts today, a little lower than yesterday, but still a 40, 42, 43 mile per hour wind gust is going to be able to pick up that freshly plowed, tilled and worked soil. We still have a dust storm warning in effect for areas northeast of Montgomery County. In Montgomery County itself, you know, it's one of those things where it's about to wind down, but this was day 2 with the strong winds again creating that blowing dust. And recently tilled fields plus those dry conditions adding up to localized areas where the visibilities were below 0. The reason the dust storm warning was issued today was largely to activate the wireless emergency alerts on phones so people driving along Interstate 55 would know they were about to enter an area with poor visibility.
New information tonight about the man accused of kidnapping and killing a St. Charles woman. He now faces more charges. Last month, Joseph DeJoy was charged with the murder of Jackie Mitchell. Today, 2 more victims came forward, accusing Joseph DeJoy of raping and assaulting them. He now faces a total of 11 felony charges, including multiple counts of rape and kidnapping.
New developments in the effort to remove St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner from office. A hearing on the case was canceled today, and there will likely be more delays because Gardner has requested a new judge. But before that judge stepped aside, he issued a ruling about an hour ago determining that there is enough evidence for Kim Gardner to go to trial for neglecting her duties. Christine Byers has been following the latest developments in this case, and she joins us live downtown. Christine.
Mike, in his final act as the judge on this case, Judge John Torbisky gave the Missouri Attorney General's office a win. He said almost all of the counts against Kim Gardner fit the criteria of the law to take her to trial. And on those counts that he did dismiss, he says the Attorney General can refile them if he finds more evidence. In a 77-page filing, Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey says Kim Gardner's remarks about the police union.
And before I was elected, I had a meeting with the police union, and they told me, we will let you be in this office if you make sure you never hold any police officer accountable.
About her time as an assistant circuit attorney.
If you think that office wasn't controlled by the police department, they came in there and told you what to do, how to do it, who to charge, what to charge, and what to make the case.
And about how her office is underfunded.
I'm more than a leader. I've been leading an organization that has been purposely disinvested from day one.
All make the state's request for documents related to those claims relevant. Bailey says Gardner's office hasn't produced a single document during the 2 months since the lawsuit seeking to remove her was filed. But the judge who will rule on the motions remains unclear. Saturday, Gardner's legal team asked for a new judge. Judge John Torbitsky canceled a status hearing Tuesday. St. Louis University School of Law expert Anders Walker says it's a legal strategy Gardner might be using to get a more conservative judge.
A more conservative judge might be more likely to recommend that she be removed. That would be more likely to go to the Supreme Court. And then the show will begin.
Walker says Gardner's remarks were telling.
I don't think Gardner really plans to comply with any of these demands. I think she wants a showdown.
Now, Gardner's office did file that request for a new judge on Saturday, as we mentioned, but the Missouri Attorney General's office has argued there is precedent showing that a judge can rule on motions before him before he's dismissed. Judge Torbitsky should be pretty familiar with that ruling. He's the one that wrote it. Live outside the courthouse in downtown St. Louis, Christine Byers, 5 on your side.
A St. Louis County father says he's been waiting for months for police to catch a catalytic converter thief. He says the thief stole it from his daughter's car in South St. Louis in February. As our Elise Schoenig reports, the men say they're still waiting for police to return their calls.
Ronald Keefe says his daughter was walking out of her apartment here to start her car over 2 months ago. He says that she called him when it didn't sound right, and that's when he knew what had happened.
Some moments are over as quick as they started.
I just feel like, something needs to be done about this.
And Ronald Keefe says the moment his daughter's catalytic converter was stolen is not a moment he'd like to remember.
She was certainly rattled about the situation and that could happen right in front of her house without them even hearing it, right? This guy sawing this thing off.
The moment, captured outside her Loughborough Avenue apartment, went something like this.
You can see the guy at, 2:40 in the morning, coming by my daughter's car, backing up, parking, getting out, taking the catalytic converter off the car, and then you can see him running back to his van.
Keefe says the initial police response was fast, but the follow-up fell through.
To this date, as far as I know, we haven't been contacted and there's been no updates on what's happened.
He says the visuals should be vital to catching the thief.
The van's very noticeable. It's got some distinctive features, and so is the individual.
The repairs cost him $1,500. Police say they're still investigating.
I would certainly like a resolution of some sort, that would be the best case scenario.
Keefe says although the moment was quick, its fallout couldn't be slower. In St. Louis, Elise Schoenig, 5 on your side.
Right now, the St. Louis County Council is preparing to debate a proposal to push panhandlers off the roads and onto sidewalks only. Advocates at the Arch City Defenders slammed the proposal at a time when, quote, evictions are skyrocketing and housing affordability continues to place families in precarious situations. Our political editor, Mark Maxwell, previews the proposal from Clayton.
The County Council kicks off a controversial debate in just about half an hour. Conservatives on the County Council hope to confine people in public spaces to sidewalks, not in the roadway or median. But lawyers who have represented panhandlers in the past warned this could backfire and cost taxpayers big time. Just outside the West County Mall, shoppers stopped long enough to slip a few spare dollars into this man's hand. He declined to go on camera for an interview for fear that raising his profile might attract harassment from mall security or police. At the County Council, Republican Ernie Tracus plans to push him and other panhandlers out of that median, off the roadways, and onto the sidewalk. Tracus was unavailable for an interview before the council begins, but at a law office around the corner, Beavis Schock sees an opportunity for himself that could cost taxpayers dearly.
I'm begging this to go through so I can sue them in a civil rights case and get thousands, maybe 150 to 200,000 in attorney's fees for striking down what is, to me, a pretty transparently unconstitutional proposal.
Smaller local governments like Manchester and Ellisville have recently passed similar restrictions in the name of public safety.
It's completely a lie that this is for public safety. The purpose of this is to stop homeless people. Ernie Trachas does not like homeless people. That's just the truth. I don't particularly like them either. But it doesn't mean you can have this extraordinary restriction on human liberty.
The Trachas proposal is likely to face fierce pushback from his progressive colleagues. Councilwoman Lisa Clancy says she's a hard no. Reporting in Clayton, Mark Maxwell, 5 on your side.